This is a postcard of Arklow North Beach around 50 years ago, in the early 1960s. Arklow, at this time, had a great tourist industry in the summer months. The sand dunes that you see are very similar to those on the beach in British Bay, which is only 10 kilometres up the Wicklow coast from Arklow. This picture was taken in the early 1970s. It is from a similar position to the previous postcard. We are facing north towards Porter's Rocks, which is the headland at the right of the picture, and the Cavern Park is immediately before it. In the summer months, Arklow children lived on the beach. If your own parents could not bring you, a neighbour did. We rarely went to the beach before lunch. As we were on the east coast, the dunes did not get the sun until it was high in the sky at midday, but then we had it until sunset in the west. The sand dunes were a natural windbreaker, so lying down was glorious. With no suntan lotion on us. We had never heard of it back then. When we got too hot, we would run down to cool off in the sea. Those little dots at the water's edge are not people, but wave breakers. These are the wooden wave breakers which ran along the shoreline. The distance from the sea to the sand dunes was over 100 metres, but this could vary by 50 metres depending on if the tide was in or out. We would always have known the tide times as the best and safest swimming was when the tide was out. This looks like a beautiful work of art. It is. There was nothing as beautiful as our beach when the sun was rising. Arklow North Beach was not just for bathing in the summertime. It was used all year round. It was a great place to go for a walk in the winter, especially in the morning when the sun would be with you. On Sundays, and even on Christmas Day, it would be busy with families, couples, and people out walking their dog. If your brain was tired, there was nothing better than the shore breeze to blow away the cobwebs. This is the view as we turn in the opposite direction and face south towards Arklow Rock. This photograph was taken in the autumn of 1983. That year had been a fantastic summer, and we had a heat wave in both July and August. I remember getting badly sunburnt and got sunstroke. I was so sick I had to stay in bed for 2 days. I know, it is hard to believe that this could happen in Arklow. That white building we can see is the Arklow Gypsum Factory, and what looks like a hill to the left is in fact Arklow Rock. Do any of you recognise what this is? Yes, it is a satellite view of a hurricane. But this was no ordinary hurricane. This is a picture of Hurricane Charlie. It first appeared off the South Carolina coast of America on the 15th of August 1986 as a tropical storm. On the Sunday afternoon, it was upgraded to hurricane status and given the name Charlie. It then began to lose strength and headed eastwards into the Atlantic. But how does that affect us here in Ireland? It continued crossing the Atlantic Ocean. It was now officially only a depression, but a deepening one. By Sunday night, the 24th of August, Hurricane Charlie, as we always refer to it in Arklow, was only 300 miles off the Kerry coast. That's nearly 500 kilometres. The next day, it travelled across the breadth of Ireland. On Monday night, Wicklow Lighthouse recorded storms of gale force 10. The heavy downpour of rain continued until lunchtime on Tuesday. It was incessant. The east and southeast of Ireland had been through the worst storm in living memory. It was very frightening at the time. I remember thinking, would it ever stop? Kilcoole, which is further up the Wicklow coast, recorded the greatest amount of rainfall ever in Ireland for a 24-hour period. The sea advanced 200 metres and took everything in its path. Not only did our beautiful sand dunes disappear, literally overnight, but all our beach was gone too. Hurricane Charlie created the largest insurance bill ever in the history of this state. It caused at least 5 deaths. Crops had not yet been gathered, so the harvest was lost. Many farmers faced financial ruin. But what did it mean for us in Arklow? In this picture, we are once again facing north towards Porter's Rocks. There are no sand dunes, no sunbathers, no swimmers, no one walking, no dogs, no children playing skip and stones. It is even impossible to get access to the shore. Our beach is gone, and gone forever. There was also a fear that the sea could come further inland, and more land and housing would be lost. All the natural protective structures which had kept the sea at bay were no more. They had all been swept away. A rock armoury had to be installed all along our north beach for protection. And now, as we face south towards Arklow Rock, the view is no better. We are left with an ugly eyesore of the protective barrier, but it does serve its purpose. Hurricane Charlie lost us our beach, but it was more than a beach. It was a social amenity, a thing of beauty, and a tourist attraction. Nearly a quarter of a century later, Arklow and its people are still counting the cost of that one storm that would only be expected on average of once in every 100 years.